Hello guys and welcome back. This is Mr. Siege. Now today I actually want to talk about immigration. So obviously I've recently restarted Rise of Kingdoms. Now started from scratch all over again in kind of New Kingdom. I was a day late. And things have really happened in the last 24 hours, really cracked off in 24 hours in terms of the way the kingdom is, and in terms of power as well, of everybody and alliances and stuff like that. So I've sort of realised what's happened. When I woke up this morning, I was allianceless, and I used to be in the top 3 or 4 alliance. I'm looking at the wrong alliance here. So I used to be here in Shadow of Calm, which are actually rank 2 now, which is pretty crazy. Now the rank 2 before has just like completely disappeared off, and that's just something that can happen. I'm currently in rank 6 now in the alliance. Now there has been a lot of moving about with altars. Now people just tend to switch between alliances for altars these days to try and get rewards, and personally I don't think that's great. Stay in the alliance. The people that have been in the alliance donating to that alliance should get the rewards from that alliance if they are taking an altar and receiving rewards. They shouldn't be accepting other people from other alliances. They should get their own rewards from the alliances they're in. If they're not in an alliance that's getting enough rewards, then just change alliances and stay there. But yeah, so I got kicked out of TH38, and I was probably like rank 45, 50 in that alliance before I woke up, and there's like 69 spaces there. So what's gone on? And what I've realised, and I did have a message of someone today saying, in fact I'll show you the message. So he says, "What's up, man? This is the result of Sleeper for free to play," and obviously he's actually migrated back today, so he's got 1.9 mil power, which for a free to play, I think he's been in his kingdom, the kingdom before he moved here, for 20 days, and this means he can move back now to a kingdom that's 10 days old. And obviously looking at this kingdom now, I realised it probably is about 10 days old. So if you zoom out and click on the world symbol there, you can click on your kingdom and you can see 10 days, 15 hours old. So in fact now we've had a load of new migrants. So people have immigrated back to us. Now I really am interested in what's happening with immigration now, because I do believe that obviously, I know now that Lilith got rid of the immigration passports. So you don't get an immigration passport to just migrate to where you want to, whenever you want to, when you reach City Hall 16, which it used to be before. So now you'd have to go and purchase a passport, which I'll get onto and show you how to do, because obviously if you just started Rise of Kingdoms, then you may want to know that. Now, your kingdom has to be 20 days old, I believe. This is what this guy told me. And then you can migrate back to a kingdom that has to be at least 10 days old. So obviously now we're 10 days old, so that other guy, he came from a kingdom 20 days old, and that's how you do it. So in your alliance, obviously you have to buy passports from the shop. Now I'm all for, I'm not going to put a passport in the shop, of course, because it costs credits and I don't want to waste alliance credits, but your R4, R5 can obviously restock your passport so you can buy one. Obviously that costs 100,000 alliance credits. Now they generally don't like doing that because they don't want to waste credits, but you're entitled to a passport really if you've been donated to the alliance enough. And obviously at the moment I've only got 200,000 credits, but although my kingdom's only 10 days old, so if I did want to migrate in the future, and I don't know what's going to happen, because I do want to be diplomatic in this kingdom and I do want it to progress and hopefully have an involvement in it, but at this stage now, because I'm so far down the pecking order, I don't see me having a chance in this kingdom to make any difference, because obviously we've had an influx of migrants now, and I was already behind by a day originally. So maybe my best option would be to go back to a newer kingdom, a 10-day-old kingdom when we hit 20 days. Now obviously we can generate these credits more. Obviously I can build more flags. You can do one troop flags, and I'm guessing in the next 10 days there are going to be more opportunities to do that. Or, I can sell some of these. I'm probably not going to be using archers in the field, so I can sell this to, you don't really sell it to the alliance as such, but if I sell this now, I then get 45,000 credits. So I'm almost halfway there in the 10 days now, And yeah, like I say, you can join more flags. You can help build alliance forts. Obviously, you can sell things in the shop which you accumulate and you're not going to use. And you can also donate to your alliance every single day. So donating these things here actually generates you alliance credits, as you'll be able to see in a second when we go back to the shop. It's obviously gone up a little bit. I wasn't actually making a note of that, but it will have gone up. And obviously you need 600,000 to buy a passport. So then once you've accumulated that passport, you'll be able to migrate. So you zoom out. So let's just obviously show you how to do it. Zooming out, kingdom overview, which is this circle, the world, basically a picture of a world down the bottom right hand corner. Click on there and we can see every kingdom here in our realm. So each realm is made up of 4 kingdoms, as you can see here. These are the newest kingdoms, 3845. I'm in 3838, which is actually quite easy to remember. One of the main reasons I don't really want to migrate back, but you know, you have to. I guess you have to. If your kingdom's not going that well, or you can't compete in that kingdom, and to be honest with you, if you're free to play, you generally have to do this. You know, if you're not spending money in Rise of Kingdoms, and you shouldn't have to, you know, and you can do well without spending money, like the free-to-play guy showed me there. There's another person in my kingdom that's also doing really well, and you know, they're free-to-play, and there's plenty of other free-to-plays that are doing well that know the game. But if you are new to Rise of Kingdoms, I mean, first of all, go and see my last video, because that will help you progress pretty quickly, as fast as you can. And you do have to put the time in though. So, and you can go and see how old some of these other kingdoms are. That's only a day 14 hours old. So this, you know, some of the, well, actually, it's the freshest kingdoms now would be sort of the target. And you know, this kingdom's only 2 hours old. So there's probably like barely anyone even in this kingdom. And we can have a look now. So 2 hours old. This kingdom is nascent today. Okay, so we can't even go and see. Any information there. But yeah, these newer kingdoms are going to be sort of like the target for anyone in my kingdom now to migrate back to. And then people from this kingdom are then probably going to migrate back to there too. So yeah, it says beginners immigration. I mean, it says it's open, same season immigration waiting. Let's just see the requirements here. You possess a beginner's immigration. Obviously, you don't get beginner's immigration now, so this is a little bit confusing to me. No, you need a passport, but you can't migrate back to a server that's less than 10 days old. So let's have a look at a kingdom that's 12 days old. So here we go, yeah. So I actually could migrate to an older kingdom now. Cross-season immigration, yeah, it's not cross-season, that's fine. So I could actually immigrate here. Obviously, I'm missing a passport. So when you're ready to migrate, obviously it all explains it here. City Hall is level 16 or higher. You have sufficient passport pages. Obviously we only need 1. I think if you're under 10 million power, you only need 1. So that's going to be definitely most people at this point, unless you're a pretty heavy spender. You will lose all your resources that aren't in your storehouse. So obviously a good tip here. Now I've migrated plenty of times myself on my main, obviously my big account. Yeah, you have to delete all your resources. The resources are actually open. Now, before you do that, so obviously before you do migrate, you want to try and spend as many of these open resources as possible. So try and upgrade as many buildings as you can. So obviously upgrading is going to, you know, use up materials. Waste as many of the materials as possible. Do your research. Do your building upgrades. Train as many troops as possible. Really just push everything last minute as much as you can to waste all these resources until you've got nothing left, because you don't want to waste resources at this point of the game. So if you are coming up to that 20-day period, it might be worth you holding on to some speed ups, because you're going to want to speed things up. Speed everything up as you can, get it all finished, and obviously upgrade as much as possible. Now obviously once you spend those resources, you won't have to delete any when it comes to migrating, which means then it won't matter as much. You know, you haven't lost anything then, have you? So then obviously you'll be able to immigrate with your passport page. You have to quit your alliance and obviously get all your troops in your city. You know, basically follow this, and it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, your beginners immigration passports are like not a thing anymore. They got rid of those to basically stop, I think it's to stop sleeping accounts or stop jumper projects, which obviously people would start in a kingdom and then all migrate back together. I don't know how this has particularly stopped that, because obviously they can all do that after 20 days. I don't know if there's a certain cap on the amount of people that can go back there. But yeah, it seems fairly straightforward. I think probably one of the hardest things would be gaining enough credits to obviously buy a passport, and then, you know, getting a passport from your R4s, R5s. Now the other option is you can obviously buy a passport. So if you did want to spend money on the game, you could buy a passport with the New World bundle. You'd pay obviously whatever yours says on here. Mine's $4.49. But obviously, you know, it might be different for wherever you're from. So if you are having that struggle, then I guess you would have to spend that. But really, do your best. Obviously, save as many credits as you can. Especially if you are free to play, obviously you're not going to spend that. So you would have to work the credits as much as possible. And you know, it is very, very possible to do so. So, well, I don't know what's going to happen so far in this kingdom. Now, again, I do want to be diplomatic in the kingdom, and obviously KVK is priority. So that's kingdom versus kingdom. This is season 1. So basically your kingdom needs to come together as one. So you don't want to be fighting everybody in your kingdom at this point, really. You know, you want to be making allies, becoming friends, and working as a kingdom to basically fight against these other kingdoms in your realm. Because in KVK 1, these are going to be who you're up against. You're going to be up against 3840, 3839, 3837. And obviously, if these kingdoms have come together more than what your kingdom has, and you haven't made alliances and friends and come together and got a set amount of alliances that you want to go to the center of your map, then you're probably going to fail. You know, you will have allies of other kingdoms in KVK 1. I don't know if it's 1v1v1v1. Now, it's been a long time since I actually did KVK 1, so this is a whole new thing for me too. Well, I mean, it's probably 4 years since I did this before. Obviously, you can see I'm slacking with the fog. It's a complete pain to me. I just hate doing the fog. And, you know, Heroic Anthem used to have fog as well, which is another Season of Conquest story, which is, yeah, again, another pain. But it has to be done. I mean, it doesn't have to be done, actually. Your fog automatically gets cleared at a certain stage in the game. And I don't know if you can actually see, but if you go to your monument in your city, there is a point. I need to collect some bits here. There we go, 3 gems. There is a point where at the end of the chapter, your fog all goes. I don't know which one it is. I thought it was pretty obvious. Yeah, there we go. Look, this looks like the one. Still actually looks like some way off. But yeah, at the end of this chapter here, all the fog in the kingdom, whether you've cleared it or not, will be automatically cleared and changed to unsealed. Kingdom status will be changed to unsealed, and governors in other kingdoms will be able to see information about this kingdom. So you see, we couldn't see information beforehand, but now at this point, obviously in your kingdom, that's when you'll be able to see the information about our kingdom. Now this in 10 days, we've got through 9 of these chapters. So I'm guessing about another 10 days or so, that's when this fog will lift. So I'm probably not going to complete it all beforehand. Another interesting thing is actually, what I have found out is when you are clearing fog, for, you know, all the little villages which you actually collect off, and you know, you might get a few troops here and there, you actually get these people outside your city now, and you just click them and it collects from all those villages. So that's really handy. I mean, you still have to manually go and check out caves and stuff like that, but yeah, that's quite a nice little touch they've added there. So guys, if you are new to the game, go check out my last video. Obviously, I'm still sort of learning again too, but I've got a lot of experience in Rise of Kingdoms. I know I'm a Siege main, but I wasn't always a Siege main, and I'm certainly not a Siege main right now. I'm going to be running, you know, my Sun Tzu, maybe Minamoto, stuff like that at this point in the game. But KVK 2, I'll be going for those epic Siege commanders, so I'm going to work my way to there. Now, again, should I migrate back, do you think, guys, or should I stay tight in this kingdom and try and work with the top alliances that are in this kingdom right now? I think it's a tough ask, and I have actually messaged the leader of this alliance so far, Cara Bay. I don't know if that's someone that's just stood in as R5, but they have not responded to me. So it's a bit disappointing, because if they're not online, they should be alternating R5s, really, or maybe this guy doesn't trust any of the other R4s. I'm not sure. But interesting to see. Let's see what happens, guys. Obviously, who knows? I could be zeroed before I even get back or migrate back or get to KVK2. So that's obviously for a future video. Right, guys, that's it from me, Mr. Siege, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.